The race for Europe is still on. Come on. Hello and welcome to another episode of Pros and Cons. Manchester United do the double over Aston Villa in their best season yet, and Ten Hag has finally beaten a top 9 team away from home for the first time ever, which is utter madness in the first place. A huge win for Manchester United and Europe ambitions. Could have been 11 points away from Villa, and that would have killed all dreams and hopes of ever revisiting Europe for next season at least. And we've now reduced that gap to 5 points, which is massive for us. 14 games left, not long to go now, and we need to keep this momentum going. But let's discuss the game in full, because it wasn't all pretty rainbows, and 3 points we win. Fantastic, but there are still a lot of things to discuss, negatives and positives, so let's get into it. Push. We are still way too easy to play against. 23 shots and 10 on target for Aston Villa. Carved us open on multiple occasions, especially when Lindelof came on that left-hand side. They was absolutely terrorising us and probably should have got more out of the game if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Casemiro is still getting caught out, not tracking runners. I've seen it multiple times in the game. Man-to-man marking is all over the place. Teams are dragging players out of position and generating huge chances. And we're playing too deep at times and not pressing enough. It seems to be a confusion within the team. Like, we do stuff really, really well for periods, and then we drop off in periods. We can't seem to do it for a full, sustainable 90 minutes, which is just bizarre to me. At the other end, taking chances and do not rush the patterns of play. In possession, some of the decisions definitely need to improve. It's like these players have a tendency to rush things when you get into an important spot. We need to be calmer, understand the tempo of the game at critical times, be aware when to make the right decisions. You don't score loads of goals by always trying to keep, to score. Sometimes maybe keep the ball, sustain pressure, move the block up, switch sides, look for gaps open. Do you know what I mean? Like, be smart about it, have that intelligence. Garnacho's a perfect example. Like, he's so... I love him because he's relentless, but he's so wasteful at times, and sometimes just needs to pick the pass out, and he needs to get that out of his game. I know Ronaldo had it when he first kind of was coming up through the ranks, and ultimately in his head he'll think he's a goal scorer, but he needs to mix it up a little bit for me. Shaw injured again, no. Left back. Shaw starting to become a little bit injury prone for my liking. He's missed nearly 100 days recently where he's only just come back, and then we had to take him off again for a precaution. I'm pretty sure there was another game where we had to take him off as a precaution. He's had multiple muscle, hamstring, ankle, leg injuries over the past couple of years on a repetitive basis, and it's starting to get more and more frequent. And I just thought simply taking him off, he's a massive player for us, and taking him off, the balance went out the window as soon as Lindelof went on that left-hand side. And it just makes me think, why let Reguilon go and why let Fernandes go to Benfica when you only have one left-footed left-back available? It just doesn't make sense. Okay then, let's end with the positive, shall we? We win against a top 9 team away from home. The curse is broken. Absolutely massive for Europe ambitions. We can hopefully use this as a stepping stone, because our next top 9 away from home, pretty sure it's Man City when we play them at the Etihad. So that is the biggest test you could possibly have in the world. So let's hope it's a stepping stone, because we're going to fucking need it. The longer this kind of went on, the more pressure. When you start to get them stats just before a game and it says Ten Hag lost, draw, lost, draw. Now you can see that. The last one, green, you're as good as your last game. Let's start this record off again, and let's not continue this poor form. I'm sure Erik Ten Hag will be absolutely buzzing with it. Rasmus continues to score. He has become the first striker aged 21 and under to score 5 in a row alongside Nicholas Anelka, who weren't bad himself, was it? Couldn't score for his first kind of 13 games, and now he's scored once against Aston Villa, ironically. He's not stopped scoring, and he's looking better and better and better. And you know what I love about him as well? All the different kind of types of goals he's scoring. Yesterday's was like a poacher's, like a proper Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of goal. The one before that was like a rocket on his right foot before it. He scored a header against Galatasaray. Like, he scored all different kind of goals, and that's what I really, really like. His attitude's spot on. He keeps going. He's relentless. He demands off the wingers alongside him, even though he's relatively young and not been at United for long. He gave it to the Villa fans as well, and to Douglas Luiz. He was giving it all this, which I absolutely loved as well. So he's got everything in his game, and I keep repeating this every single week, but it's true. I think we'll look back at that £65 million price tag, and I think we'll look at it like a bargain. Well done, Rasmus. Onana had a good, decent performance. I think he's quietly going under the radar at the moment. Pulled some great saves off in the game, some really, really important ones, especially that one from Ollie Watkins, which people may say through his nitpicking. He didn't know anything about it, but he still made the save. It was reactionary, moved his hand slightly, stopped a goal going in. Distribution for the most part was pretty solid, I'd say. Claiming crosses comfortably, which has been a massive concern of mine in previous games. Let's hope he can continue this form, because if we are to get anything out of this league, anything out of the FA Cup, he needs to be on it. He can't make mistakes like he did in Champions League, because it'll crash the whole campaign. Harry Maguire, man of the match. 6 aerial duels won, 1 assist, 9 duels in total won, final third entries first, successful passes 43, and tackles 1. He was second. Colossal unit. Top performance. And we're going to need him now. Lissandro's out again for another 6 to 8 weeks. He's going to be mega important, Maguire, and thank God he's kind of turned his fortunes around and is playing like he is. I know he still has flaws in his game. He's not the most comfortable in possession when he's being pressed. You know, sometimes he gets caught lapsing in behind, lacks that little bit of pace, but he was really important yesterday. And I'm happy he's in the form he is, because I'm not too worried with him and with Maguire and Varane there. When it starts going back to Lindelof and Maguire, the concerns start creeping in. But at the moment, we're okay. Scott McTominay again. McTominay has scored more goals in the Premier League this season than in the previous 3 campaigns combined, while his 4 goals as a sub are the joint most in the competition this term, which is equal to João Pedro's record, I think. Like I said, super sub. Another thing that Ollie'd be proud of. Won me £105 as well, by the way. When he came on in the 75th minute, I said to my mate at the time, I said, put a fiver on him to score. Next, the 3rd goal, basically. He was like, oh, no, I'll have a look at the odds. 20 to 1 it is. I was like, bang a tenner on it. And he was like, nah, I'm going to leave it. I was like, you know what? I'll bang a fiver on it. No worries. Only a fiver in it. And then the return was £105. And when Dalot crossed the ball in and scored, I thought it was Højlund at first. And the camera was zoomed out, so I couldn't see. I was like, yeah, obviously I was screaming because we scored. But then I was like, I can't see who scored, because they both had blonde hair. They both look very similar. I was like, show me who scored. And then McTominay, seeing him celebrating like that, it was like, yeah, ecstasy. It was like we just scored the final in Wembley. But yeah, absolutely buzzing for him. Buzzing for my pockets as well. Great attitude and application. I think Ten Hag mentioned about he's the perfect example. You know, he bides his time. He gets minutes. He trains extremely well. And I think a goal like that will keep his moral on high on the bench, because he's scoring. So he's happy to come on, boom, get the winner, done his job, said a bit. Well done, Scott. Is Europe still on? Now we're 5 points off Aston Villa with a favourable run, minus Man City. Europe was gone if we lost that game. Me and Sam said that in the preview. It was gone. You can't be 11 points behind Aston Villa. Just simply can't happen. So the lifeline is still there. And of course, getting European football is huge for attracting players. It's huge for the financial benefits. And now we have to keep this momentum going. Momentum is the key word in this one, because it can become crashing down within minutes. It's still a big gap, 5 points to claw back in 14 games, I think, we've got left of the Premier League season. So you need Aston Villa to lose a couple of times and you just keep winning. So it's still a relatively big ask. I don't know what their run of fixtures is like. I'll double check it, but we need to start picking up points now. Maybe a late surge, Champions League football would be amazing. If we can win an FA Cup and get Champions League football, people would have bit your hand off that for 1 or 2 months ago. So I would absolutely take that at the moment. We shouldn't be striving for that, but where we are at this present moment, I'd absolutely take that. So the conclusion then, our next 5 games, we have Luton Town away, Fulham at home, Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, Man City at the Etihad, and then Everton at home. How many games do you think we'll win? Do you feel like we're starting to get back to how we was now that winning momentum's behind us? Haven't lost this year, I don't think. I'm pretty comfortable in saying. And do you feel like there are still some concerns for you personally that I may have not mentioned in this video? Let me know in the comments. And who was your man of the match? Talk to me, people. We've won against a top 9 side. Champions League is still on. Players are scoring. Players are back. It's nice. It's really nice. So all in all, I would give it a probably 75% positive. Take care. See you in the next one.